Wait,
Gloves.
what was on her arm though?
Her hands felt dry though. A hand mask, under eye, mouth taping, of course. Why is her mouth open?
That's like the speak out game.
Star face pimple patches, okay. Okay, the curls are coming in. The crimp, is that what we're calling it? The crimp?
The crimp.
Why is her mouth still open like this? What's in her mouth?
I think it's from the speak out board game.
What is this? How did she fit in the bed? What is that?
There we go.
Oh, it's a retainer. What?
Oh, it was like a. Did she sleep with that on too?
I don't know where that came from. In the arm? What was that? Something in the armpits?
All right, now stuff's going on, right? So, okay. First of all, these morning shed routines are getting out of control. I have no idea what some of the purposes of some of these things are, but she hit on a few things. You had some facial masks, you had some hair crimping, and you also had some facial mouth taping. So let's talk a little bit about the morning shed. And we're also going to talk about, if we were to do a morning shed, what would a morning shed look like for a dermatologist? This is the process of, at night you do a ton of things, and then you wake up with these things, and you're supposed to be, the saying goes, the uglier you go to sleep, the more beautiful that you wake up. And so theoretically, these things that you should be doing should be making your skin and hair look better for the morning. So we'll talk about what we would do. All right, so there it is. All things morning shed and a dermatologist morning shed. Here we go.
Here we go.
So we're gonna break this down piece by piece because there was so much happening, I think a lot of it was lost. The first thing taken off is this blue Velcro strap on her left arm.
It's a blood pressure cuff? Like, what is that?
That's what I thought.
Are we taking continuous blood pressures? That's super uncomfortable.
It's so, I don't know.
It looked like a blood pressure cuff. And then the gloves come off. Now, there is some utility here to the gloves at night. So cotton gloves, if you take your occlusive ointment or your thickest hand cream and you put cotton gloves over them, this is actually a common thing we recommend for people with hand dermatitis or hand eczema, dyshydrotic eczema, whatever you want to call it. So if you get those itchy bumps on the corner of your hands, could be a great way to treat them, to be honest.
Yes, so if you have dry, damaged skin on your hands, moisturizer, and then occlusion with gloves, great. Why, though? You hear that?
Her hands sound like sandpaper, though, so there was no moisturizing that was going on. So not sure the purpose of the gloves.
Okay.
Facial mask, which,
Facial mask.
And eye mask, which is sort of interesting that the facial mask, you have Starface pimple patches underneath them, you have eye masks, and you have the facial tape. So the mask is getting very little surface contact here, but
True.
We've said in the past, these facial masks, most of them, even if you love them, are more of a treat yourself and not a necessary part of a routine.
Okay, last eye mask coming off. Mouth tape.
Mouth taping. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, what is mouth taping? Mouth taping is, as it sounds, you apply tape over your mouth before you go to sleep. And the thought process on a very superficial level is that by making it impossible to breathe through your mouth, you're forcing yourself to breathe through your nose, and there are going to be multiple benefits from that.
Right. So theoretically, what Big Mouth Tape has been pushing is this concept of taping your mouth, forcing you to breathe through your nose, and that this is somehow better for you. Now, this is touted to have all kinds of different benefits. It's meant to decrease your risk of bacterial and viral infections by passing air through your nose and forcing you to be a nasal breather. It's able to better filter the air. Okay. I buy it. By forcing it through your nose, it's allowing you to have better circulation, expand your sinuses, allow you to essentially breathe better, have better cardiovascular and lung capacity. I guess there are a few weak studies here and there. And then finally, what I've heard is that if you do this, it will actually make you more attractive. Okay? There are some studies, there are even some books written about this, where they've studied the facial shape of kids who breathe through their nose versus those who breathe through their mouth. And they said that people who breathe through their nose have a more attractive craniofacial anatomy. I think most of these are observational studies. I think most of these are low quality. And I think most of these have been done retrospectively. So when a survey is done and they say, are you a mouth breather or a nose breather? Sometimes it's hard to recall. You get some recall bias there as well. So I don't know that any of these studies are high quality. They've even studied this in the cases of sleep apnea and asthma, and those studies have been mixed as well. But I think the idea of forcing breathing through your nose sounds like it might have some benefits, but I think what they tout it can do for you is probably pretty well overblown.
Right, and there are some studies on like breathing dysfunction, like is it optimizing your breathing? And again, they fall on both sides of the aisle. So when there's something like this, where there are a lot of studies, there are a decent amount of studies on mouth breathing. I'm gonna give it that. This is not new. This is actually something that's been done even in the medical industry for a while, but it's really split. Like the evidence does not fall strongly on one side or the other. And when that occurs, like I definitely don't have a strong opinion on, does it do anything or nothing? It could do something, but it's the claims. That's one of the main reasons I cannot stand this trend personally. Claims are outrageous, and it's just generalizably, it's one of those things like everyone should be doing this. And if you look at the studies, even the ones where there are benefits, it seems very selective. Like this person with this condition will benefit from mouth taping as opposed to if you're a young, healthy individual and you want a stronger jawline and a perfect immune system, mouth tape, you know? So that's one of the reasons it irks me so much. I don't think it delivers on what it promises. I don't think it's understood. And I really dislike this trend. I agree with Dr. Dre on this too. The idea of taping a mouth shut at night just sounds claustrophobic to me. There's something like inherently horrifying, but that's just me. I'm not pushing that upon you. That's just me.
Yeah, I think that's fair, whether or not it's comfortable. So here's the deal. Mouth taping is probably not going to cost you much. You could try it. If you are going to try it, use a hypoallergenic tape, something that's not going to be too sticky. If you're using retinol, just be aware that it could pull up your skin with it. So just be careful if you're doing that. Now, I think where you get into harm with this is if you're somebody who has obstructive sleep apnea, you snore, and we know that obstructive sleep apnea leads to a lot of detrimental health consequences. Strokes, heart attacks, falling asleep at the wheel, just not being able to pay attention, all kinds of issues from obstructive sleep apnea. And you say, well, I don't want to actually seek treatment or medical advice for this. Instead, I'm going to follow the internet gurus and start mouth taping instead. And it doesn't help you at all. And you end up continuing to deteriorate and cause problems with your health. So it's when you seek out these sort of alternative treatments in lieu of traditional treatments, instead of maybe doing both of them together or trying the alternative treatment for a short period of time before transitioning quickly. That's where I think you get yourself in trouble. If you're a healthy person and you want to see if mouth taping is going to make you look more attractive, try it and report back to us, I guess. But in the end, I think you're just going to be uncomfortable while you sleep.
Yeah, I hate this trend, but that's okay. That's neither here nor there. So he said something important though, is like, yes, mouth taping has been studied in addition and in conjunction with other treatments for obstructive sleep apnea, and perhaps again for that person, maybe it's beneficial. Also, this is like the only morning shed video where there's no chin strap. It's like the only one, but the chin strap being again, something you wrap around your ears, put under your chin, help again, keep your mouth closed as if the tape wasn't enough.
What did you call chin strap in a video? You said it's like your emotional support, or it's like a hug for your face, or what did you call it?
Oh yeah, that we did. That was a completely different chin strap. That was supposed to decrease your submental fat. It was like a cooling one.
This is really cooling, and in my beard, I wasn't fearing it at first. And now I am. It's actually kind of nice.
It's kind of like an emotional support strap for your chin too. It just feels like it's tucking it in. This is actually kind of nice. Anyway, these chin straps that hold your mouth shut, those have also been studied extensively in the setting of obstructive sleep apnea. Sometimes it's helpful, sometimes it's not. Often it's used along with a CPAP. So similarly, very personalized and not something that everybody would benefit from.
Right, so definitely not a one size fits all type of thing. So try it if you want, don't try it if you don't want. I don't think it's something I'm going to be doing. Plus, it won't stick to my beard.
Oh, there's that.
So I would need chin strap. Then she uses some pimple patches. We like pimple patches. I've always been a big fan ever since I've been introduced to them, to hydrocolloid pimple patches. Those ones are from Starface. They're a little bit of decoration in your face. They're great. Check them out. Remedy has pimple patches, by the way, but they're more on the invisible side and they're not decoration.
True. And then we take out socks from the hair. I think those are socks. It doesn't really matter. Basically, there are different ways to create texture, curl, crimp in your hair when you wake up, that's perfectly reasonable and fine. You'll also see people use silk bonnets. Again, completely fine.
I have no idea what type of mouth hardware she was dealing it with, but it was quite a lot of different type of mouth hardware. I don't know if she has what are those called? It's not a mouth guard, it's like the cage.
Oh yeah.
But ultimately, I don't know what came out of her mouth, but I will say this, okay? If you're somebody who had braces as a kid or Invisalign as a kid or as an adult, there is nothing better that you could do to maintain the shape of your mouth and teeth than to continuously wear your retainer. I think that's probably one of the biggest mistakes I see people make is they spend a lot of money on braces and they don't continue to wear their retainer as an adult. So if that's a retainer, and I don't know what kind of retainer that was, I would say yes to the retainer. For sure.
Yeah, it was like a 3-piece story. It was top and bottom out, then shink, and then another one out. So we can ask your friend, the dentist, and get a solid answer on that one.
Yeah, we'll need to call in the experts on this one.
What was that?
Oh, so she has something that she pulls off of her upper abdomen. It looks like maybe one of those things that just kind of like hold you or tighten you and people use to help with ab formation, I think. I have no idea.
Could be that. Could be a postural thing. This is all conjecture. Wait. Look, she did sleep with the makeup on her chest.
I don't know what the makeup on her chest is. Potentially she's contouring, it looks like. She's contouring her décolletage area. I don't know if there's any long-term benefit to this, or is this more of a cosmetic thing? I've never seen this done before. Someone might want to comment and let us know what's going on here, but I ain't got a clue in the world.
It looks just like contouring. What you see on the face, you are accentuating in curvature and like areas you want to highlight. I just don't understand why you would want to sleep in it. So if you know, please, I'm open to hearing it.
Unless it's like a self-tanner of sorts, and then it's going to have more of like a permanent.
Could be, and then she blends it in. Could be. What was that? And where did that come from?
That might be a personal hygiene product.
That's what it seems to be.
Unused though, it appears.
So button comes out of nowhere, shows her face. Nice. And then, what is in her armpit? Rollers.
It's more rollers in her.
Oh, wait, did she curl? Did she sleep with her hair under her armpits? Yeah.
Or are those just her armpit hair?
I don't know, this is like...
But hey, we're not judging over here, okay?
Not judging.
To each their own. Little fun fact though, if you're going to visit your dermatologist, we genuinely do not care if you've shaved, if you've not shaved, if you're wearing makeup, if you're not wearing makeup. We've seen it all. We're literally professionals when it comes to this. There's nothing you should be embarrassed about. I get this comment all the time, like, oh, I didn't shave my legs. It's fine. You don't have to shave your legs. We don't care. We're not even looking at, what personal condition you're in. So don't worry too much about that.
This is very true. All right, I think I get what's happening in this video though. So the problem is there's like enough that is like functional that we see in all of the morning shed videos. And I think it's just kind of taking a turn to the extraordinary. I'm not sure how much of this is like legitimate or satire at this point. I think that's where this video has gone. But then we have the crest or the white strips.
Big fan of the white strips, to be honest. I think they work incredibly well.
No chance she slept in those though.
Yeah, I don't know how she would have with her retainer and an entire mouth factory in.
And then spraying her tongue with some sort of antiseptic, highlighting her face again.
Okay.
Well done.
In the end, these morning shed routines are out of control. So let's talk about what we would actually bring into the derm morning shed.
So we are going to go raid the skincare rooms, create our own morning sheds, and we will be right back.
All right, we're back with a lot of stuff now. And if I'm being honest, really being honest, because I decided we had to pick things that would have the most visual appeal that you could see in a morning shed video. But if I'm really being honest, I would really just have my remedy for healthy aging or my script to Zeratine, which I currently alternate, and a bedazzled Vaseline. And that would really truly be my morning shed. But since we gotta be ridiculous, I picked these other ones instead. What do you got?
The way I approach the morning shed is like this, if anything, is like for the exceptional use scenario. This is not an every night thing, probably isn't for everybody, but when your skin is particularly damaged, dry, dehydrated, and you need like a deep repair, that's kind of when I envision this morning shed being. So a lot of what I'm gonna pick are based off of things that are gonna like support, help your skin recover so you can get back to kind of the day-to-day. So first up, there are the silk products. I actually hadn't opened this box yet. So apparently Kier has silk pillowcases. Oof, that's actually kind of nice.
Can we put that on my bed tonight?
Yeah, so nice. Dr. Shah is sleeping here tonight, and yeah, so this is actually really nice. I like this. So I've used other silk pillowcases from Blissy. I can't remember the other one. They exist, and you know, it's largely anecdote, but it can be really helpful for your skin. It does, I mean, it's soft, maybe less product on your pillow. That's all fair. My other silk supporting ingredient, I'm actually really bummed I don't have this. I bring this with me every time I travel because you never know when the light's gonna be off. And trust me, it happens a lot from someone who's traveling a lot more these days. The silk eye masks, like, just pretend this is that. They are great. So like, they're super lightweight, they're super soft on your skin. Like, silk does play nicely with the skin in general. Basically, silk eye masks, definitely something just to help you get deep sleep.
And from my perspective, when it comes to picking these things, they just gotta look as ridiculous as possible on camera, however, actually have some benefits to the skin in my mind and not really cause any harm. So I would choose this Medicube Collagen Night Wrapping Mask. Now, collagen doesn't get into the skin, but it's actually a nice, great moisturizer. And we have a video of me peeling it off from a prior video.
Look at this. Look at this. It's working.
Oh, nice.
This is the first thing that's worked for us.
I actually really enjoyed this experience. I found it quite moisturizing. And if you need something really visual for your morning shed, this would be a good option.
Yeah, I love that mask. If he hadn't picked it, I would have picked it. I thought we were applying it, and that's actually the reason I didn't pick it. I do hate trying to get it out of the beard and hairline. That's my knock on that one.
Fair enough. Okay, next up, I would say micro infusion targeted patches. Now, these are targeted patches that with the microcones on them are able to deliver ingredients deeper into the skin. Now, we've said this before that the penetration into the skin is one of the biggest barriers to your ingredients actually working. And so if you need to deliver something that's difficult to get into the skin, a really good way to deliver it is through these microcone patches. Rock has some, Cure has some now, and they have really thoughtful ingredients, especially for around the eyes. Things like argireline, things like retinol that are able to be delivered deeper into the skin. They pull off in a really cool way. These ones are blue, which are quite visual, and they will have some benefits while still looking ridiculous.
The rest of mine is kind of layering hydration for repair. So I would start with something like the peptides. The nice thing about peptides, this one from CosRx, super gentle. They are great for aging skin. Some of them are good for the skin barrier, but they're gonna really help the skin. I was like between this and their snail mucin. So after you layer your first layer of hydration, then you lock that in with your second layer of hydration. Sorry, I opened that a bit aggressively and it splashed both of us. So I actually like the BioDance masks the best. I've used them all. I've actually gone through all of my BioDance masks, so I need to reorder. But this is fine, you get the point. Basically, you're going to take a mask, not the wrapping, and again, we have facial hair, so we can't use the whole thing. That's the mouthpiece. Okay. And there. Got to the piece I wanted. So you basically layer an occlusive feature on top of your hydration, and you are now a superhero.
Now, do you genuinely think these have any long-term benefits?
I do not. That's why this is my exceptional case use scenario.
Exactly. And the same thing with that Medicube mask I was showing you. Definitely a treat yourself. Definitely not necessary, but you feel great afterwards. And I did actually use the BioDance mask, and I slept with it overnight, and it actually started like this color, and then it became clear, which I thought was pretty cool. So I don't know. It's a top-selling mask on Amazon. Try it, I guess. My next thing are pimple patches, and I said in the previous video that we watched that I actually do like pimple patches quite a bit. Ours are invisible, so it's not really a fun thing to watch, but these ones from Florence by Mills are like little butterflies, which I think are pretty cool, and I wore one on my neck for a while. I don't know if you remember when I had like my little butterfly one, but I have a daughter, so I think these are super cute. So when she sees me wearing these, she'll think I'm cool.
She'll think I'm cool. Dad life for sure. And then my next layer of hydration occlusion, you could use, I don't know what you're laughing about, but this is used for an intensive repair, has alpha hydroxy, I think this one has lactic, and urea, correct.
Interesting. Intensive repair. It sounds like CeraVe stole the name for their product from Eucerin, for their urea intensive lotion.
You're right. Let the controversy begin. Anyway, so you layer what is both an exfoliating moisturizer, right? And this is perfect for the hands and the feet because you want both hydration and exfoliation. And then you're going to, and you want more moisturizer than that, to be honest. And then you're going to slap on your occlusive glove or occlusive sock overnight. You can also use white cotton, but something like this would work better. It's not nice to get it in there. But once it's in, yeah, you are slugging that exfoliation hydration, and it's great for reviving dry, cracked hands and feet. Look at me, I am like a superhero.
The Walmart superhero. All right, so that is Dr. Maxfield and Dr. Shah's nighttime skincare routines, and we would very rarely, if ever, actually do these, but if we needed to be extra and have a morning shed, this is how we would do it. Anyway, these morning shed videos are totally out of control, but they're fun to watch, I'm not gonna lie.
Yep, so we appreciate you. We will see you next time.
Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.